Hey guys, it's Miss Ramsey. If you remember at the beginning of the week, we read A Tadpole Grows Up and talked about the life cycle of a tadpole. And we also went through the book and talked about some nonfiction text features. So here was the life cycle pictures that I showed you. It starts with an egg that's encased in jelly. It goes to a tadpole. The tadpole starts growing legs and its tail starts going away. And then it turns into an adult frog. So just kind of a little recap on that. I have this page. It says a frog is an amphibian. It spends part of its life living in water and part of its life on land. A young frog is called a tadpole. It looks different from a frog. A female frog lays her eggs in the spring. She always lays them in water. Frog eggs are soft and squishy. They stick together in a big clump called frog spawn. Once the eggs are laid, the adult frogs swim away. Inside each egg, a new tadpole is growing. The tadpole feeds on a small yolk in the egg and grows bigger. Tadpoles are tiny when they hatch, but they grow quickly. Each tadpole has a long tail, which it uses to swim. It has feathery gills, so that would be like a fish, gills to breathe. It has feathery gills on both sides of its head. These allow the young tadpole to breathe underwater. When they are about 7 weeks old, tadpoles begin to change into frogs. The little frogs keep growing and their tails disappear. They are now called froglets. The froglets stay in or near water. They feed on small insects, which they catch with their long, sticky tongues. When they are bigger, the froglets move away from the pond. And you can notice that this text has some bold print. Why do you think that the author chose bold print? To let us know that those words are important, okay? So we're going to also read and compare the life cycle of a tadpole to a monarch butterfly, okay? So we're gonna think about how do things grow and change over time? How do things grow and change over time? So Monarch Butterflies by Gail Gibbons. A monarch butterfly settles on the leaf. So a monarch butterfly settles on the leaf of a milkweed plant. She gently presses a tiny egg onto one of its leaves. The egg is the beginning of another. It's summertime in the north. A breeze stirs the stem of the milkweed plant. The monarch egg is white and shiny. It is the size of a small dot and sticks to the leaf. You can see right there the tiny egg. When the butterfly lays the egg, she makes it sticky. Wind and rain cannot make the egg come loose. In a few days, the egg hatches. Out crawls a small caterpillar, also called a larva. First, the caterpillar eats the eggshell and then chews away at the milkweed leaf. The egg of a monarch is almost always laid on a milkweed plant. The plant will be its food. So we have a label right here, caterpillar or larva. The caterpillar eats and grows and begins to change. It breaks out of its old skin, showing a new skin underneath. This is called molting. For 2 weeks, the caterpillar eats and eats. It molts about 5 times. Finally, it is a full-grown monarch caterpillar, about 2 inches long. Now something wonderful begins to happen. The caterpillar creeps to the stem of a leaf. It attaches itself to the stem and drops down head first. The caterpillar's bright colors become greenish. Then you can see it's making its J. It's made its silk button and it's making its J. Then the skin splits and moves up to the top. The skin falls off. A new strange form appears. It's called a chrysalis or pupa. The chrysalis is like a blanket that is wrapped around the body, growing inside. So there it's labeled chrysalis or pupa. At first, the chrysalis is long and soft, then it shrinks and hardens and becomes light green, decorated with gold dots. Inside, the monarch butterfly begins to grow. About 2 weeks later, the chrysalis changes again. It turns gray-green before becoming transparent. Ooh, that's a good word. What do you think transparent means? If you see the chrysalis there, how it's changed, it means you can see through it. Inside are white dots and orange and black lines. The chrysalis wiggles, then it splits open. The butterfly begins to pull itself out. The head and legs appear first, and then the rest of it slides out. The wings are tiny and stuck together, and the butterfly's abdomen is big. The abdomen becomes smaller when its fluid is pumped into the wings. The wings become bigger. A caterpillar has turned into a butterfly. This is called a metamorphosis. It's such a good big word, metamorphosis. So it's showing its abdomen. The butterfly sits quietly for a few hours, waiting for its wings to dry and harden. At last, they begin to move slowly and then beat faster and faster. The butterfly flutters up toward the sky. Monarchs have a bad taste and will make a bird or animal sick if they are eaten. Most of them are left alone. So here's one of your nonfiction text features, a diagram. We've also had labels, but here's a diagram of the butterfly. There are many parts to the butterfly. So the scales of the wings make up the colors. Then you've got the little head right there. The filler or antenna are for touch and smell. It's got the proboscis or proboscis, however people pronounce it. The tube to the mouth is called the proboscis. It sucks up sweet juice called nectar from flowers. There's the thorax. You've got the little leg. There's its little abdomen and its wing. The monarch butterfly only flies during the day. When it rains, the butterfly stays dry, hidden under leaves. Fall is on the way. Soon it will be cold. If the monarch butterfly doesn't fly south, it will die. Once again, it darts up to the sky. The butterfly will take a long trip to a warmer place. This is called migration. The monarch will fly to where its ancestors have always gone, sometimes to the very same tree. Other monarchs keep appearing, making a cloud of orange in the sky. At night, they rest in trees. Sometimes they fly up to 12 miles an hour and almost 100 miles in one day. There could be over 1,000 butterflies traveling together. They fly to places such as Florida, Southern California, and Mexico. Some butterflies migrate 4,000 miles. They will stay south throughout the winter. It's a really long distance for a tiny little butterfly. And then this is just saying that sometimes people do special things when the monarchs are migrating, like having parades. Monarchs can cluster together, thousands of them clinging to one tree, a butterfly tree. In the spring, these butterflies will migrate north again to the fields of milkweed plants. And then that life cycle starts all over, like it showed at the very beginning. It's going to leave a egg there, and then the cycle will start all over. So your question is, how do things grow and change over time? So think about that and respond on Flipgrid.